So to start off, a little bit about me. So other than Honors Academy, I'm also involved in girls tennis. I actually just had a tennis match today, earlier before this. I've done that since freshman year. And then I've been in yearbook since my sophomore year, so for 3 years. And then I just joined DECA this year. Outside of school, I also enjoy going to the lake, hanging out with my friends, taking vacations, spending time with my family and dog, going to the gym, and playing any and all sports. So a little about my mentor. So it was Mrs. Weedy for this project. I met her. She was my sophomore year and junior year yearbook teacher. Throughout her being my teacher, she was always willing to help me out with any questions I had for photography, and she really was the one that got me interested in taking pictures and taught me how to use the camera. She always pushed me to write more stories and always gave me more assignments to get me really involved with yearbook. She sadly isn't my teacher anymore. She's now working at Worship Anew, and she's the director of communications. So a little bit about the origin of my project. So initially I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something I was going to be interested in because I was going to be spending the next year working on it. I thought about doing something with tennis or creating a project to display at school, but just decided that's not what I wanted to do. And I spent a lot of hours thinking about what I wanted to do. So my final decision was something with photography because I knew that's something I wanted to learn more about and spend a lot of time with. I instantly thought about Miss Weedy as she had already helped me grow so much as a photographer and knew she'd be the perfect mentor. There's early on complications with this, as when I first asked her, she said she doesn't know if she's going to be able to, and then I found out a week later that she was leaving the school, which I didn't know about, but it ended up working out. So my original plan for the project was to take pictures of all aspects of Concordia, so not just sports, but like choir, JROTC, everything else we're involved in. And then I wanted to print them all out and display them on a board and have 1 to 3 pictures of each activity, but kind of took a turn. So I realized it wasn't just photography in general I was interested in, but more of sports photography. I love to watch the action and excitement of sports, and a lot of my friends are involved in sports, and I love watching them and watching them succeed. I just love the atmosphere of sporting events, especially at Concordia. We always have big student sections and a lot of crowd interaction with the players. So my solution was to just focus on just shooting sporting events. Also with the real life portfolio, there's a lot of restraints and complications with that. So I wanted something I could look back on, and having a physical portfolio would be kind of hard to keep all those photographs. And also prints are very expensive. It's about 50 cents to $1 for 5x7s, and that adds up really quickly when you're printing a lot. And showcasing photographs can be very time consuming, having to print all of them out and put borders on them and hang them all up. So my solution for this was to showcase on a website instead of a board. And then also some sporting events are harder than others to photograph. So originally I wanted to get every sport, but there's some sports that are harder. Football games are really easy because they're every Friday from August to October, but something like girls golf can be harder to shoot because it starts in July and they really only have a few matches. So my solution was to not focus on how many photos, but just trying to get to as much as I could. So when taking pictures, it's a lot different than people would think. There's a lot more that goes into it. So first, I rent a camera from the yearbook room. I don't have my own camera, so I always rent one from the school. Then going to the sporting event and assembling the camera with the needed lenses can take some time. And then taking the actual pictures. After taking pictures, usually that day, I try and upload all the pictures to my computer. I go through them and select my favorites, then edit them, and then add the pictures to the folder. And then after that, sending them out to where they need to be sent. So renting cameras, like I said, I don't have my own. Being in yearbook gives me access to the school's cameras and equipment, which was really helpful for this project. It can, however, be hard to get the camera I want. We share the cameras with the yearbook, who has, I think, 20 students in it, and then all the photography kids, which they have 2 or 3 classes that all use the same cameras as us. We have a lot of newer ones, but we also have a lot of older ones, so it can kind of suck to get stuck with one of the older ones when we do have newer ones available. And then I have to select the correct lens for the activity I'm shooting. So at Concordia we have short lenses and long lenses. So it kind of varies for much sport. So usually for football or soccer, when you're kind of more far away from the player, I try and get a longer lens. And then something like gymnastics or cheerleading is really helpful to have a short lens because you can go right up next to them. So here's kind of a picture of what the lockers look like in our yearbook room. So there's lockers with the cameras in it. So I'll select the camera, the one on the left, and then the lens depending on what I'm shooting. And then a battery and charger, which these can be the hardest things because a lot of times the batteries aren't charged. So it can be really annoying to get an uncharged battery and go all the way to the sporting event and then to figure out that it's dead and not be able to take any pictures. So next, going to the actual event. So every Monday in the yearbook, we look at all the events, all the sporting events that are going on, and I decide what fits my schedule or what games are close. Usually I don't go to like an hour away home game or away game, so I try and stay close, what's like accessible to me. And then I plan out what pictures I want based on who or where they're playing at. So for example, if we play a really good team, it can be hard, especially in like football because they don't have the ball much. But if we're playing a bad team, it can be good to get, especially this season like that. But if we play a bad team, it can be good to get people that don't usually get photographed, kind of like the subs or maybe. So it kind of just depends. I usually try and do some research and look into what team we're playing, just for that matter. So here's a picture of our weekly schedule. This is one from actually the other week. This is all the spring activities we have, so as you can see, it's really busy. And we kind of just sign up for what we want. We can take pictures for any games, pretty much, that we want to sign up for. So then taking the actual pictures, so usually I stay for 1 to 3 hours, depending on what it is. For football games, I would usually stay the whole time, so those usually rounded out to be 3 hours, but for something like golf, usually it can get kind of boring to have to shoot there for a long time, so I'll usually only stay for an hour for stuff like that. On average, I take about 50 to 400 pictures depending on the event. It also depends on the lighting. If the lighting's really bad, I don't take that many, but if I can get good lighting and on a good sunny day, then I try and take about 400. When taking pictures, I try and not just get the players, but get the coaches and the crowd, the movement of the ball, things like that, and then also emotions. My motto is it's always better to take too many pictures than not enough, because you can always delete, but you can never go back and retake the picture when you're there. I also try and stand in different places to get different shots. So for example, in the gym, there's 2 different sides, so I try and get both sides. Or the football field, trying to get the visitor side, stand on there to get the student section in the background, or standing on the student section side to get kind of the bench and everything like that. So the next step is uploading the pictures. So I can upload them directly to my computer. So I have a 2020 MacBook Air, which seems to have enough storage to hold all of them, and then I have an SD card and an SD card reader. So the SD card just plugs into the reader, and then that plugs straight into my computer, and then I have access to all the pictures that I took. So the next step is I go through all of them, and I select my favorites. This usually doesn't take too long. I usually only select about 10 to 50, and this is kind of a rough estimate, but sometimes there's less, sometimes there's more. It just kind of depends on what the lighting is like and things like that. I always look for ones that showcase the outcome of the game, so if they won, looking for ones of people celebrating, things like that, or even if they lost, looking for kind of the defeated look. Also looking for pictures that show action or show the emotion, like I said, of players and coaches. I make sure they aren't too blurry, make sure I can edit them and work with them. I don't really want a bunch of dark pictures to have to go through, so try and get ones that you can see everyone's faces and stuff. And then I also try and not select multiple of the same thing in person, which can be really hard when you have a star player, not just taking pictures of them, but that's something I've really been working on. So for editing the pictures, I use Lightroom, and then often I will adjust the exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites and blacks, and the color. There's different editing times depending on the sport. So for example, if it's an outside sport like tennis or golf, it can be a lot easier because the sun kind of naturally edits it forward kind of. But especially basketball is really hard to edit in the gym because of the lighting and things like that. So because of this, it can take anywhere from 10 seconds to 5 minutes for a picture. And the 10-second one, so on Lightroom there's a feature where you can copy and paste settings onto photos. So if there's like 5 pictures of the same exact thing, I can just edit one of them and then paste that setting onto all the other ones. And like I said, after reverse indoor, it can be hard and different to edit them. So after that, adding pictures, they can go directly from Lightroom to a folder on my computer. And when I put them in a folder, I try and say what sport it is, if they won or lost, and then who they played, just so I can have that easily organized in my computer. And then the last step, which can sometimes be the hardest, is sending them all out. So once I finish editing them, I'll send them to kind of who they're of. And so pictures I take we usually send to the athletes that I photographed. This is often time-consuming, sending each individual athlete their pictures. And it also can be annoying because like 5 minutes after I shoot, I have like 5 people texting me asking for their pictures, and it takes a lot more time than that. But I also add them to a yearbook folder. So with shooting yearbook, every time I shot for this project, I was also shooting for yearbook. So putting them in the right folders, they can be used in the yearbook for the given sport. And then for this project, obviously I added my favorites to the website. So throughout the project, my mentor helped me a lot. She helped me with editing and telling me what I should and shouldn't do with the pictures kind of. And then also choosing which ones were her favorite and telling me which ones I should use, and then just tips along the way. She also helped me a lot with my research paper. When I first knew we had to do a research paper, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do or how to approach it, so she kind of helped me with kind of crafting that and then also proofreading it for me. So for my research paper, I decided that I wanted to learn more about sports photographers because I didn't really know too many famous ones. I only kind of knew local ones that live in Fort Wayne. So I chose these 3 photographers that all specialize in a certain style. And I didn't just want to learn about them, but I kind of wanted to put it into my photography and kind of try and recreate some of the things that they did. So the first one is Neil Leifer. So he worked for Sports Illustrated Time and Life. He began at age 13 and has been taking pictures for 60 years now. And here's kind of a list of some of the things he shot. I thought it was really cool that he shot all of the first Super Bowls, so the first 12 ones, he was there for all of those. His specialty is showing the crowd in the background. I really like this because it tells the story of what is happening. So on the right picture, even if the players weren't in it, you could kind of see that they obviously shot a good shot. And then it also shows the time period. So on the left one, you can see all the old time cameras. It kind of shows like how photography has evolved without even like explaining it. You can just see it. So my take at this, so the one on the left was from the regional game. If you look closely, you can kind of see everyone clapping, but they're also really tense. And if anyone was at the basketball game, it was a really close game. So it kind of just shows the story without showing any of the players. And then the one on the right was from a New Haven game. Noah Shred, one of the players, he had I think 5 threes in a row or something crazy like that. So everyone was really hyped for him. I thought that picture was really cool. The next one is Tom Jenkins. He was a multi-award winning sports photographer for the Guardian newspaper, and he's been shooting for 30 years. And here's some of his career highlights of shooting. I thought the horse racing on ice was cool because I've never seen that before. His specialty is weird and interesting lighting and color choices. And I really wanted to try and put this in my photographs because a lot of mine end up looking the same, shooting at the same places, the same Zollner Field and the home court. So I wanted to kind of mess with the lighting a little bit more. And it kind of provides an interesting and non-traditional way to look at an event. So my take at this, I don't know how good you can see on the screen, but the left one, the dirt is kind of moving when Addison takes a shot at golf. So I thought that was kind of cool. It showed the movement of it. And then on the right, Noah Schlicker and Will Busick, they run a tennis match, and I just kind of wanted to mess with the lighting. It's not if you see the course, these obviously aren't what they look like, but kind of like faded the colors away to make it look different than all my other ones. And then the last one is Elsa Garrison. She was the first women's staff photographer at Getty Images. She also started as a sophomore, just like me, and she first started sports photography as a first job looking at the local paper. And then here's some of her sporting events that she shot. So her specialty is one of my favorites to do. It's showing facial expressions and close-up shots. I really like this because it tells the story so even without showing exactly what's going on. So obviously in both of these, they did something good, made a good shot, or got a goal. You can kind of see that without seeing the ball. So my take at this, so the one at the left was from an intramural volleyball game, and I personally played intramural volleyball, and it got really competitive, and you can kind of see them getting hyped up. And then the one on the right, I got a lot of pictures like this at the football games because this was kind of the general mood for I think they were down by 40 or something, so I was trying to go to the bench and kind of get their reactions of how they felt, because this is kind of how a lot of them felt. So when creating the website, I used PicFlow. This made it really easy because it let me have a title, photo header, and I uploaded all my photographs and they're all there. The hardest part about this was probably organizing all of them. So I had a lot of football pictures and a lot of golf pictures, and I didn't want to have them all clumped up in the website. I wanted them to be spread out so it showed kind of all the sports, not all together. So that kind of took a lot of time to make sure no two were together, but it was fun. So the final product is this website. I uploaded a total of 95 pictures, but I tried to put ones on that I was proud and felt represented Concordia athletics and my photography well. And there'll be a link at the end for you guys to see those things. So after completing all this, I did some reflections about some challenges, good things, and bad things that happened with the project. So the biggest challenges were definitely spring sports. So spring sports don't start till April and they go until May pretty much, and they always get canceled because of the rain, especially this year. We've had so many cancellations. So it can be hard to try and sign up for something to shoot it and then it gets rained out, and then the next time they schedule it, like I'm busy or something like that. So it can be hard to get those spring sports because there's such little time for them. I also did lose an SD card. SD cards are really nice because they're easy to store and tiny, but they're also really easy to lose. So I lost a card that held about 1,000 pictures, I think. A lot of those were from last year, but I had some from this year on it that I just can't get back because I never put them on my computer. And then one of my biggest struggles is definitely editing pictures. It's hard with the gym lighting. Luckily we got new bleachers and new floors, so it's a lot better because it's not yellow in the picture, but that's definitely my hardest part of taking pictures. So there's a lot of good outcomes besides these three, but these are kind of the top three. I learned a lot more. I got to research the interesting photographers and kind of learn more about how other people go at sports photography because it's different for every photographer. I definitely took a lot more pictures than normal. Since sophomore year, I've been taking pictures, but I kind of tend to do one event a week. But I was forced to get out of my comfort zone and shoot sports I hadn't shot before, such as like baseball and softball. I'd never done those, so that was a good experience. And then also the online portfolio. It's just something I can always look back on and a way to showcase my work, and especially if I continue photography, being able to look back and see how much I've grown by this portfolio. A few bad outcomes. I wasn't able to shoot every sport like I wanted to. I missed out on swim, lacrosse, track, and wrestling. Some of those just because I didn't have time, and some because I wasn't that interested in shooting. And I was on a big time crunch with spring sports, with this project being at the very first week of May. So actually the other week I had to shoot softball, tennis, golf, and baseball in 2 days. So that was a lot to do, and edit and go through, but I enjoyed going to all of them. And then sometimes it felt kind of like it was more like homework than for fun. I felt kind of like I had to shoot instead of I wanted to shoot, but that was only a few times. I overall enjoyed shooting everything. So what I learned is how to expand my photographs. If I look back at my sophomore year pictures, I tended to just take pictures of people's backs of them standing, but trying to shoot now more of people getting their movements and expressions. I really grew on Lightroom, how to edit pictures better and things like that. And then how to successfully manage my time with a big project. So making sure that not only Ms. Wee was holding me accountable, but I was holding myself accountable and getting to my due dates. Because obviously this wasn't a project I could just throw together in the last week. And then also what to look for when shooting certain sports. So I got really involved with knowing how the game works, because that's a good thing to know when you're photographing. So such as like baseball, kind of understanding more of their calls because I'm just on the field, so it's kind of better to understand. And then I put together my top 7 photos just to show you guys some of my favorites that I've taken throughout the year. So this one is Remy talent at a gymnastics meet, and gymnastics is one of my favorite things to shoot because it's really easy, you can get really close to them. And I thought this picture is cool because she's just still in the air and she can hold that for like 5 seconds, which I think is really impressive because I could not do that. This one's Yafet Michael. If you went to any of our basketball games, you definitely saw him in the front row. He's really fun to shoot because he always has a lot of energy. This was also at the regional game, and I really like Nate's face in the background, kind of cheering him on. This one's Noah Schlicker at one of the tennis matches. I thought it was really cool with the shadow, how you can kind of see underneath him and how high he jumps, because generally tennis players don't really get that high up. This one I took the other week. This is Jalen Campos, Jack Henry, Jack Belshner. They have a really good friendship on and off the field. So I thought this was a really cool picture that kind of showcased that. I'm pretty sure they were down here, but they're still smiling and laughing. It kind of shows the connections that you make as an athlete at Concordia. This one is Avery Cook, and this kind of shows you what photography can do, because I'm pretty sure he did not complete this sketch, but it still looks like I thought it was really cool with the lighting and everything. This was at the Wayne game, and it actually had smoke that went off every time Wayne scored, which was a lot. So in some of these pictures from this night, you can kind of see the smoke in the background. Not this exact one, but I really like the pictures I got from this game. This one, like I said, there's a lot of pictures like this. This is Jack Belshner. He actually did like this picture, so I wasn't making fun of him or anything, but this one was, I think they were down by 40 or something, so it was kind of boring to shoot the actual action, so I kind of went to the bench to get their reactions to the games. And then this actually counts as 2, but this is my favorite picture. This was at the Lures game. That's Cole Hayward dunking, which he did a lot throughout the season, so that was really fun to kind of watch him. And then in the right picture is Chris, Gavin, and River. Those are like 3 of Cole's best friends, so it was really cool to always get their reactions. They always supported Cole. And this picture was actually like within like 2 seconds, so I shot Cole and then went straight to the bench because they always had huge reactions and huge celebrations. So here's some of the resources I use, just the websites of the photographers, getting all their pictures and all the information about them. And then obviously the school's cameras. We do get cameras to like donations and money to school funds, so it's really nice that we have access to all of those. And then all the athletic facilities where I shoot. I never had a problem, never had anyone like tell me I couldn't be where I was at, so that was really nice. And then some final thank yous, just a thank you to all the athletes and coaches. I never had someone tell me they didn't want me to take pictures of them. I feel like everyone generally likes getting their picture taken. And then the school just for providing all the facilities and all the cameras and things like that. And then Miss Weedy for always pushing me and for getting me really interested in photography and never giving me a task that she didn't think I could do. And just for helping me throughout this project. We met like every month and it was always really helpful and kind of gave me an idea of what I wanted to do. And then Mrs. Erdos, Mrs. Erdos came to me 2 weeks ago and expressed her interest for the project, so that kind of gave me like some excitement to get to share it with her. And then for giving us this project, it seemed like a lot of work at first, but it really helped me and gave me something to look forward to doing. And then Mrs. Kiefer, she's my new yearbook teacher, and she's really helped me grow through photography and gave me tips and things like that. And then my parents, not really this year, but years before, they always drove me to athletic events to shoot, and then also for just always supporting me. So here's the QR code to see the website if you guys want to scan it, and yeah, that's it. Any questions or comments? Elise?
Was there a sport that you took pictures of that you thought was going to be not as interesting, and then you're positively surprised?
I'd say baseball. I get kind of bored watching baseball, but it's kind of cool to be on the field and to hear what the dugout's talking about. So yeah, I'd say probably baseball. Mrs. Weedy?
Alright, what's been your go-to camera, your favorite lens? What's been the equipment that you just like the most?
I don't know exactly which camera it is, but it's like the longest lens that we have. It's a really big camera, so it can be hard to hold, but it zooms in really nice. So a lot of our cameras zoom in. You have to like twist it kind of, but this one zooms like out and in like that. So that one's really nice. I don't know exactly what it is though.
I don't remember either, but I know what you're talking
Mrs. Willis?
Is there a reason that you chose Lightroom over Photoshop?
That's just kind of always what I've used. I've never really tried Photoshop, so it's just kind of what and it works for me, so.
Are you going to pursue this in college?
I've thought about it a little bit. I'm not like majoring or minoring in photography, but I do definitely want to keep taking pictures, so maybe joining like a sports photography team or something like that. It's definitely something I'd be interested in. Mrs. Erdos?
Is a camera on your graduation gift list?
No. It would be cool though, but they're very expensive. Any other questions? Mrs. Weedy?
I just wanted to say a statement. I mean, just like you were saying about Libby earlier, she did a great job, and one of